How's everybody doing? Let me get this situated. Thursday, June 25th. Let me share this on the social. What's up? Yeah, settle down, Pat. We'll get you. 1 and a 2. Hey, Zeus. How's everybody doing? We're going to have Pat the Batman fan join us in a sec here. Hi, Graham. Missing the live shows, but great to have so many live streams from you and company. Yes. We're trying. We got one this Saturday. If you just, it's a Zoom show at 7 o'clock Pacific time. Just go to my Venmo, which is at Graham-Elwood. All right. All right. Got some hot, fresh segments to do today. A little headache? Yeah, I get that. Hit the like button, Teresa. Thank you. Share this out on your social media, folks. There's that one. And then this is... Hello from Scotland. Kids never call. What's up, y'all? Hello, Kim. Rhombus Isotope. Hot and fresh, the like button. Seeking advice from anyone. Who should I vote for in November? In Ohio might be important. Biden, Hawkins, or other. Boy, I don't know. Yo, Graham. Love you lots from Maggie in Ireland. What's up, Maggie? How are you doing? You sat through an epic Epoch Times commercial beer. Thank you. I'm going to check my OBS, make sure that's good. Everybody can see her and hear me okay, correct? I'm assuming, right? Yeah, okay, that's good. The lighting looks good. I like the sound of this microphone. I obviously need to get a microphone stand. My lavalier crapped out 2 days ago, so I haven't had a chance to get a mic stand yet. But it's when I listen to it in post, it's like, man, it's a crisp sound. COVID deaths per million, USA 655, Japan 7. I know. Charles Booker is ahead in Kentucky. Well, that's good. That's good. Got no notification for you going live. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that. Make sure you've hit the bell notification button, even if you've done it in the past, because YouTube just won't notify everybody. Make sure you've subscribed. You're because they're unsubscribing people. I've been stuck at 69,200 some subscribers for like 3 weeks now. It's ridiculous. We should have crossed 70,000 subscribers like last month. I was doing like 100 some subscribers, several hundred a week. And now it just stopped. There's no new subscribers. Nothing new is happening. It's such nonsense. Delicious smoothie, ladies and gentlemen. Unsweetened organic almond milk. Half of an organic frozen banana. About a half a cup of frozen organic blueberries. I could fit one. I had these massive organic strawberries. One big strawberry in there. Some frozen greens. Kale, spinach, chard, and the like. A spoonful of organic unsweetened peanut butter. And a scoop of vegan protein powder. I did post my live stream on Twitter. You mean like so you can watch it on Twitter? Yeah, I put it on Twitter. I shared it just now. Man, that's a good smoothie. Let me put this away. I'll be right back. Brain freeze. Share it on your social media, folks. Graham, please buy a mic stand from your local music store. Indie, if you have one. I'll see. There are some. Let me see which ones are open. What do I think about statues coming down? Good. We shouldn't be idolizing these old racist dicks. Like, let's put a new future out there. Let's like, why aren't there more statues of Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and, you know, people that, you know, did a lot of help, didn't like, yay, made a lot of money from slavery or whatever. They need to be more careful pulling them down. People are getting... That's true. Andrew Jackson was a despicable person. You can be a war hero and a horrible person. His statue should be in a museum. Yeah. Let's put some statues of some people that really sacrificed and did good things, you know, just like this guy led an army that butchered, you know, indigenous people. Like, ugh. Why would we celebrate that? And it doesn't ruin America's history. It actually improves it. Like, I don't know why people get so offended at that. I mean, there's so many people like, oh, I thought this person was really cool, and then found out, oh, man. Or whatever, like I used to really think I've said this before. I played high school football and I watched you know, college and pro football, and I really revered Joe Paterno and the Penn State football program. I thought, man, he was really running a good, clean program, and he had this high graduation rate, and rarely were his players getting into trouble. And then you find out about Sandusky, and boy, he knew about Sandusky for 13 years. So yeah, tear down goddamn Joe Paterno's statue. And those Penn State fans that like defended him, like you're defending a guy that protected a pedophile. So it switched. It wasn't hard for me to suddenly not want to like fuck Joe Paterno, fuck Penn State. Wasn't that hard. I wasn't like, you're taking away our history. Just like, what about the children? Read the emails in the free report. It's horrific. Pull it down. I thought Christopher Columbus was some hero and Thanksgiving was this great moment. And as I've gotten older and learned history, oh wow, Christopher Columbus was awful. Why are we revering this guy? I grew up revering the Catholic priests. Boy, they've got they're connected to God. Well, a lot of them are pedophiles and they covered it up. The nuns knew about it and did nothing. Like, I'm done with the Catholic Church. But my grandfather, him and my great uncle, but they won't want the Notre Dame. Yeah, so they should redo all of it. Stop living a lie. How about that? Like, why do you want to live in a lie? Why do you want to live in a lie that this person was great when they weren't? Like, I don't get it. What is it? What is it? Don't you want the truth? Like, I don't get it. People associate these heroes or icons or statues with, like, they make it like it associates with me. Like, no, it doesn't. I obviously was a big Bernie Sanders supporter, but he's voted for a lot of wars, and then he just sold us out. Now he just runs a really popular Twitter account. Like, I'm done. It's not the smears against him that were incorrect. I called those out, but the shit he did that was wrong. I mean, like, he fucking quit. He quit. He's a quitter. It's not an affront to me saying that, and he did it. It shouldn't be. It's not an insult of anyone who worked on his campaign. I know people worked on the campaign. They did great work. I met a lot of them on the road. I just noticed this like notion that I supported that thing or that person, or I believed in that thing or that institution, and now you're pulling the veil off and showing the truth about it. So I'm going to take that personally and be mad at you. It's a form of insanity, man. It's a form of insanity. Fred Sanchez statues for everyone. All right, 100 people watching, 37 likes. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Support the show. Go to the dollar icon. Even just $1 helps support the show. I want to invite Pat, the Batman fan, on the show. We're going to talk about George Carlin. It's going to be fantastic, folks. It's going to be fantastic. Copy the invite link. Hold on. Shut that down. Shut that down. Hold on, folks. Hit the like button. Johnny Carson. Ed. Have them hit the like and subscribe. Pat Evans emailing you a Zoom link in Johnny Carson's voice. Going to bring Pat the Batman fan on the show. The same people who don't say shit about Fred Hampton's gravestone being shot every year are mad psychopaths don't get to haunt the public. Yeah. Wow, good point. They shoot Fred Hampton's gravestone every year? Jesus. Good day, Annabelle. What's up, Rhombus Isotope? Pat that like button. What legends of stand-up do you like? Well, Pat is about to jump on the show, and we're going to talk about George Carlin. Pat, check your email. Oh, wow. It just shrunk again. God. Oh, I don't know why you do that. OBS. 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 There we go. Juan chat. Therineo. Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting the show. You can do what One Chat did. Just hit the dollar icon button, and I get 100% of the chat revenue. Thank you for supporting the show. Cat Williams, the like button. Those who make peaceful change impossible make violent revolution inevitable. What's up, Pat? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Pat?
Hi, Graham. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good.
You got me loud and clear there?
Yes. You can hear me all right?
I can hear you, buddy.
We're talking morning radio DJ voices, Pat. It's
well,
KPV.
You know, got me?
Yeah. Hold on.
What happened? Something happened there, buddy.
It cut out just for a quick second.
Okay. All
right. I'm going to turn my camera off because it chews up a lot of my CPU. But just watch it, enjoy, or just listen. You can hear me all right, though?
I can hear you.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Hi, Body Biz Grab Elwood. Welcome to the Political Vigilante, joined by a very special guest, longtime friend of mine, Pat the Batman fan. You know him in the chats. Pat, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Graham. How are you?
I'm excellent. So we were going to talk about one of our favorite comics, George Carlin, and how he was so prescient. He really has been predicting everything that's happening. But first, before we do that, let's talk about why you and I are such comedy fans. We met at the Hollywood Improv. You were the sound guy there for a long time, and I was a comic who was performing there regularly. Do you remember what year it was that we met, or when you were working there?
Well, we met. I thought we met at the Columbia School of Broadcasting originally.
In Chicago?
Class of '95, wasn't it?
No, I did not go to school there.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
The DJ, you remember the Columbia Broadcasting DJ school?
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're doing a DJ book. I'm sorry. I was already off that riff. My fault.
Way to step on my bit, Elwood.
75
Great.
Past the hour.
Now
Pat the Batman.
I can't do my 20-year-old material now. Thanks a lot. We met at the Improv. I had just started going there. I was working at the Beverly Center at the time, and started hanging out there, and I was just blown away that the very first night I went there, it was like Brian Posehn and Doug Benson and a bunch of people I recognized, and so I kind of became a regular. And then eventually I thought, well, I'm spending so much money on drinks here, I might as well just get a job here. And boy, man, those were some golden years that you and I shared at that place, man. It was pretty fantastic.
That was like early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s in there?
Yeah. Every night or every weekend, it'd be Sarah Silverman, Zach Galifianakis, Brian Posehn, Doug Benson, Louis C.K., on and on and on. All the people that went on to, great success.
And one of them was a creep.
Glad. What's that?
and Louis C.K. is a creep.
Oh, well, yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. There's a lot of.
Yeah.
No, I remember that. That was like performing there and hanging out there all the time. I remember just performing anywhere around L.A. and then eventually ending up there, and maybe even doing late night sets or just. I mean, yeah, it was pretty amazing doing sets there, and it was just like always. Doug and me and Patton and Nick Schwartzen and, Zach Galifianakis and everybody just there. I remember Sully McCullough did a lot of shows there.
Yeah, Sully, he was great.
It was like, it was pretty amazing time. I mean, it was like,
magical, really. It was, yeah.
It was before podcasting. It was before social media.
Mm-hmm.
The internet, people were still on the internet, but there was no Facebook or anything like that yet. And it was crazy. It was, and there was Largo and there was the M Bar and all these other venues and that whole like alternative scene and, Maryland Rice Cup and everybody. So we're obviously huge, fans of comedy. You as a viewer, I guess, me as a performer, and so we both love Carlin, and we reference Carlin a lot on this show. Jimmy Dore references Carlin a lot. I remember Jimmy said he saw Carlin in the mid 2000s, like during the Iraq War, and he was so impressed that Carlin at the time was whatever in his late 60s or 70s, and was doing all this biting material. And the audience, Jimmy was like, the audience was amazing. It was all age. He goes, I saw teenagers there. I saw people in their 20s on up to people Carlin's age. And because him calling out the truth was so relevant and so on point. And it's something that sort of inspired all of us. Bill Hicks inspired us. Jimmy and I watched Bill Hicks live at the Funny Firm in Chicago in like 1994 when he came through there.
Wow.
Which was an amazing time. So I want to show this clip. So I'm gonna have to block your face for a sec, but this clip that many people who watch the show are aware of and have seen before, but it and then you and I will sort of break it down, if you will.
Break it down.
So here's this famous clip from a special he did that was on like HBO or Showtime or something like that. And I think this is from like 2004, 2005.
Around there.
But there's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table to figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers, people who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
So...
Amen.
It's like... more true today than when he said that on stage, whatever that was 15, 16 years ago or whatever.
Yep.
Because and what I've noticed in the almost 4 weeks now since the George Floyd being murdered and the massive week-long protests in every city, in every state in America, and 18 some countries around the world. That week had to have terrified the ruling class because for the first time, you had everybody united. Those protests all over the country it wasn't just Black people. It was, I mean, I was at many of them in Los Angeles. It was the most diverse thing I've ever seen. I saw more, and in, like, a friend of mine lives down in Orange County, and there was a big protest down there, and it was mostly white people, like 19, 20-year-old white kids going, this ain't right, Black Lives Matter. And so people are waking up to this, which is why you see the media now doubling down on the race war narrative. They have to make it more, and I'm not trying to diminish or excuse the fact that there are serious Nazi white nationalist Klan members in this country. They're violent, they're dangerous, they're heavily armed, and they're absolutely need to be put on terrorist watch lists. But the media keeps playing that up. They keep saying racial tensions on the corporate media. It's like they need this black versus white thing because it's like there's more of us of all different ethnicities uniting behind ending police brutality and defunding the police. And the conversation keeps getting expanded of like, well, if we're defunding the police as well, we should, and we need more money for social programs, then why are we spending all this goddamn money on the military? Why don't we have free healthcare and everything else? So as a fan of Carlin and as somebody that watches this show and other, indie progressive shows, what are you seeing, Pat, with regards to what Carlin called out 15 years ago and how it's playing out today?
Yeah, the answer your question, he answered in the video, because the owners of the country don't want that. Right. The politicians are there just for show. They're there to ride the gravy train and give you the illusion that you have a choice. And until Carlin said something else in one of his books, he said, short of a real life revolution, an honest to God revolution, things are really not going to change because, there is literally no incentive for them to change. The billionaires and the elites might as well, and the politicians too, they're part of the big club, they might as well live on a different planet, no matter how much people are, shouting in the streets, until it affects them directly, until it arrives on their doorstep, they'll just keep trying to defend indefensible positions via the media that they own, which you pointed out. So, it could go any way these days. It's everything's so nuts. But yeah, I agree with him. I think unless it gets really, they've shown that they have no shame, really, and just like he said, they were coming for your Social Security, and they try, and they're trying again now.
Yeah, they're coming for Social Security, and as we've been discussing the last couple of months since the passing of the CARES Act, they're coming for your small business, they're coming for your home, they're coming for everything. They just cannot get enough. I mean, you
have had personal experience with the big club. You've had personal run-ins via your home being taken from you by thanks in part to Steve Mnuchin, who's our Treasury Secretary now, and you've been following it with the Epstein stuff and many other stories that you do on the channel here. So all about the big club, and I'm pleased that you the thing about Carlin is he sort of divorced himself from an outcome in the stake, a stake in the outcome of humanity. So he was observing it, from sort of a dispassionate place, not wishing for a specific outcome to things. And so he was able to just sort of observe the unvarnished truth, and that's why he's still as relevant now, because the truth, as you pointed out earlier, I mean, that's the part that really resonates. Like, he was an excellent wordsmith, and he did a lot of like other clever bits, about euphemisms and things like that. But when he got to the big world stuff, the political stuff in those later years, boy, he was so present, having that clarity, that's why it still resonates, because it is just true.
Well,
and it's
it's the crazy thing. Unfortunately, it's more true now. I mean,
right?
Like, when he made that special, 60% of the country wasn't in a place where they couldn't afford a $500 to $1,000 emergency. I mean, he made that before the housing crisis. He made that before almost 6 million people, myself included, lost their homes. He made that. I mean, that's what's so insane. He made that before, I mean, all of he made that before Obama took us from 2 wars to 7. I mean, he was making that while Bush was in office, with Iraq and Afghanistan, and how, some people said, well, Afghanistan's kind of justifiable, but Iraq is completely not. Like, he made that before, I mean, all of the, like, if he was alive today, he'd be like, oh, I don't know what his comedy special would be like. It would just be like, I can't keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Told you so.
Yeah, I told you so. That's what the comedy special would be. I told you so. I mean, again, like the Epstein pedophile ring, that hadn't, I mean, he probably wasn't as aware of that as all of us are now either. I wasn't aware of that back then. I mean, because again, the reason and the sort of the power of social media also hadn't come into play. Now, the ruling class tries, and sometimes very successfully, manipulates social media to push a narrative. But that was one of the things of all these protests is like, especially the younger people, anybody under the age of 30, probably 40, is not watching regular media. So social media just lit up every police brutality home video that everybody, I mean, that was just, you couldn't turn on any piece of social media anywhere and not see some cop spray painting a tear. Like I just watched one, people were just kneeling peacefully and a cop just went and just sprayed everyone in the face like an asshole. Like,
yep.
And the use of, and even we've had all of these unarmed people of color be killed since George Floyd. I mean, that young Latino kid that was a security guard, and the LA County sheriffs gunned him. The kid got scared and ran, and they unloaded 7 bullets in his back as he ran away. Like,
Yep. Well, Carlin was no fan. He was anti-authoritarian. You know, he was definitely no fan of cops. He actually, while we're on the subject of cops, I will read from you, Graham, from my autographed copy of When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops, which my lovely wife got autographed for me.
Nice.
This is called Mr. Policeman.
Okay.
Remember, kids, Mr. Policeman is your friend. Always cooperate with him. Mr. Policeman wants to help you, so you must help Mr. Policeman. Don't forget, if you refuse to cooperate, Mr. Policeman will beat you to death, especially if you're not white.
Yep.
Mr.
And tell us the title of that book again that George Carlin wrote.
That was his last comedy book, When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops?
Mm-hmm.
And there's also, I recommend any of his books, but his Last Words, which was written with Tony Hendra, which is sort of a memoir which came out after his death, is well worth it. Just for the fact that he calls Lorne Michaels a hands and knees cocksucker in it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But again, no, I mean, it's true. Like the cops can just beat the shit out of you. And this is in the, whatever the 15 years that book was written, the cops have become more militarized. Their budgets have been increased by many, even Democratic mayors and governors. And it's like, it's insane. I mean, we look at like Los Angeles where you and I live that has, LAPD gets $3.1 billion, which is 54% of Los Angeles's operating budget. It's insane in a city that has there's tent cities everywhere, blocks from where you can't go more than a half mile in any direction in Los Angeles without finding people living on the street, like tents. And
there was a musician, just as an aside real quick, who, I'll try and send you the video, a musician who started building mini homes for people in downtown LA. And he made hundreds of them and started moving people into them. And the city just came and destroyed them all, took them all away. Like, because they had their own plan, to deal with homelessness, which I'm sure involves some fat contracts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Well, I mean, look, this city is run by developers. That's, again, you can't go a half mile to a mile without some massive new luxury apartment / condo complex that is either just built or is being finished built, or, with these anywhere from, and I'm not exaggerating the numbers. This is not me exaggerating, $4,000 to $5,000 1-bedroom apartments.
Yep.
Like, that's an insane amount of money for a fucking mortgage on a 20,000 square foot home, like, let alone a 1-bedroom apartment. So you're talking about spending $60,000 a year just on rent.
They own all the important land.
Yep.
And these real estate groups are so large that, they can afford, just down on, in Burbank, there's a stretch of Magnolia where they've just started jacking up all the rents, and all these small business owners are having to flee. And it doesn't matter to the developer if it sits for a year, if they can, double the rent on the next person that moves in,
Mm-hmm.
They don't lose any money because they have so many other properties. And,
Well, yeah, and they get 0 interest loans. They get tax breaks from the government because, again, as Carlin said, they own all the politicians. They own all the. And again, going back to why the Epstein thing is so relevant is it really shows how awful the ruling class is and how extensive the corruption goes. I did a video that dropped last week about a judge who has all these ties to people who have a vested interest in this not coming out, mainly in West Palm Beach and in Florida. And so we can't release all the documents. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, and everyone, William Barr's involved. I mean, that's why no one's been prosecuted. I mean, the Clintons are involved. Trump is involved. So of course these judges are going to be paid off. I mean, I just did a story last night on, two girls, black girls, went missing in Milwaukee and were suspected to be in a known sex trafficker's home, and the police didn't do anything about it. So it's very suspicious that the police and the cops have to be involved. It's a thing Virginia Roberts said, which actually is parallel to what Carlin said. Virginia Roberts said you can't have a global sex trafficking ring without. She goes, everybody knew. I mean, pilots, doctors, cops, assistants, women, masseuses, guys, children. I mean, babysitter. Like everybody knew about it, and
it would not have surprised Carlin one bit. I don't think, to find that out.
Right.
He didn't have material about that, but he did have a screed, pretty good screed against the royal family in general. Basically, fuck them, you know.
And so he wouldn't, he was against the royal family because he's seen how the royal family and the Rothschilds, which have a severe amount of influence on the royal family and are some of the wealthiest people in the world, have all this power and money and all of these ties and evidence to Epstein and sex trafficking. Like, it's just, and so they have to keep us divided. They have to, I mean, a week or so after everything, the first week of protests, around the second week or so, then all of a sudden 6 black men all are found hanging from trees. That's coordinated. And are these white nationalist groups capable of this? Absolutely. But I'm sorry. I have a hard time thinking that there isn't somebody from the ruling class going, well, let's push these white nationalist groups to react this way and coordinate this to keep this race war narrative going, when in fact, as we said, the Black Lives Matter protests all over the world are like every person, every nationality, every age group, everybody going, we're done with this. And they have to keep us divided because, look, man, people were setting fires in trees around the White House that first week of the protests, and they got close. And they're people are pulling down statues. So if they don't want the Capitol building and the White House to get burned to the ground, they got to keep everybody divided and pacified in some sense.
Yeah. They never put anything past the government.
Yeah.
I think that would be a Carlin sentiment as well. I mean, and Bill Hicks, when you mentioned Bill Hicks earlier, he tragically died young, but he was in the same ballpark as Carlin as far as really just, calling out the powers that be. And he had a bit about when politicians get elected to office, they show them the Zapruder film. And then any questions? Yeah,
they would show them the Zapruder, what really happened.
And that was going through my head when all the stuff with Bernie. I was just like, don't put anything past these people are not going to go willingly into that good night.
I mean, it's an excellent point. It's a question I raised. The way Bernie just all of a sudden just quit. I'm like, did they literally threaten to kill his grandchildren or something? Did they? Which I wouldn't put it past them, that they just sent photos of his grandkids playing in a park and just went, gee, I hope nothing bad happens to them if you get the nomination. And he went, okay, I'm done. My good friend Joe Biden can have it. But again, talking about the current situation that we're in, so is on point with what Carlin said, because I remember that Sunday night, May 31st. So there'd been 5 days of protests, and Sunday night was when it really got bad where I live, and there was looting, and the National Guard got called in, and I thought, tomorrow's Monday, but nobody's going back to work or school tomorrow because everything's been shut down. And I went, they're going to open everything up, because part of the frustration obviously was not just obviously George Floyd police brutality was the main reason, but a lot of people were like, the whole government's taking our jobs away. They won't pay our rent for us. Like, everybody is just the government figuratively had their knee on everyone's neck, and people were like done with it. And I remember sitting there thinking, they're going to open this country up because they need to put everybody, you know, they saw the economic reasons behind the protests and even some of the rioting and looting. And there's like, we need you to go back to work to your dumb job. Like Carlin's like, just here's your little crappy job. We're going to open the country back up and give you your little jobs back so you'll stop protesting every day.
Right. Which, by the way, if you don't return to work, we'll fire you and you'll lose your health insurance. And good luck finding another job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, it's like...
They got you by the balls.
Of course. It's like Amazon fired Chris Smalls for organizing a strike because he didn't want him and his coworkers to die from COVID-19 in an Amazon warehouse for $10 an hour.
Right. And what is Bezos concerning himself with... now, you know, building his own personal rocket ship, and Musk had to open his Tesla factory because that's essential. And I mean, he basically hijacked NASA, sent his own, you know what I mean? Like, these people aren't, and this goes back to what Carly was saying, these people aren't elected, but yet they have all the power. And they didn't have to hold a hearing asking if they could go into space and build rockets and do whatever, you know, like, and the shocking lack of concern for his employees has always been a Bezos trademark, but like, especially during this, like when his personal wealth has gone up to, you know, I mean, that amount of money is just mind melting in the first place, you know, and to have somebody unchecked with that, I mean, money equals power. So, you know, that makes them the most powerful people in the world. And they can really do whatever they like. So what incentive does Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk have to care about us? You know what I mean?
They made their billions by not having to pay taxes and
cheating.
Yeah. And exploiting money from their workers and everything. I mean, they've
things you and I would go to jail for.
Yes, absolutely. That's the other thing. The corporate media, man. Oh, they talk about the looting like it's the worst thing that's ever happened. It's like, oh, I'm not happy looting. George Floyd getting murdered is a lot worse. And why won't they talk about the looting at Wall Street? Why don't we talk? They should be screaming from the mountaintops if they weren't bought and paid for by the ruling class. They're not, I mean, they're mouthpieces for the ruling class, but they should be talking about how Amazon doesn't pay any money in taxes. How Amazon has made somewhere in the neighborhood of $40 billion during the pandemic. All these stores are shut down and everyone's going on Amazon and they won't pay their workers a union wage. Like, it's...
Or air condition the warehouses adequately, or,
give them,
you know,
PPE.
they make them wear shock bracelets to keep them moving. Yeah, it's dehumanizing. So that tells you everything you need to know about those guys. I mean, they're crazy people, you know, and you know, again, back to Carlin, the politicians don't give a fuck about you, but the elite certainly don't give a fuck about you at all.
No,
at all.
They don't.
At all.
The politicians only care about the elite that are keeping them funding their political careers.
Exactly. So now, but what's interesting is we are sort of, you know, George is saying, you know, it's not going to change. But as I mentioned before, he did clarify that in one of his books, you know, short of a real revolution, you know, because why would the powerful give up what they have, you know?
Right. Why would they? Why
yeah, it does,
would they?
they've clearly shown that this, I mean, if you can send rockets into space during this global crisis, you know, how much do you care about the people on this planet?
Right.
So,
Well, before we go, Pat,
yeah,
where do you see us? I mean, I know it's like hard to predict anything right now. Every day's different, but based on everything Carlin said 15 years ago and what you're watching, and, you know, you pay pretty close attention. What do you see happening? What do you think?
outlook not so good. It would be my magic 8-ball answer. Like I said, they have no incentive to change, the wealthy, the elite, until they feel some sort of real pressure to do so, or a real threat to do so, you know. So and I don't know. How's that for an answer?
Yeah. No,
but I wanted to make a point real quick, if I could, about Carlin started out doing on the Ed Sullivan Show, doing fairly conventional material, and then in the 70s he had an awakening, late 60s, and in the 70s he became more counterculture, the 7 Dirty Words bit and all that, and then he late 90s on, which is the period we're focusing on mainly, he really became the truth teller that he is. And I think it's interesting, there's not many comics now that really are kind of there to fill his vacuum, but it's interesting that you and Jimmy, you started out as just comics, I want to say standard comics, but what I mean, like regular club comics. And then, through the course of events, you guys have had your own awakenings, like George, and now, you guys are both truth telling. And Jimmy was so right on to pick up on that phrase, "It's a big club," because that is like that could be the motto of this country, really.
Yep.
It's a big club, and you ain't from the beginning of it. So, yeah. But I think you and Jimmy are sort of carrying some of Carlin's approach, I guess, in what you're doing now. So I think that's awesome. Like I said, there was a lot of comics at the Improv that I saw that went on to have really great success, and I'm, pleased for all their success and everything. But you and Jimmy, I'm proud of. Oh. You know what I mean? Like you guys are really putting the rubber to the road. You know what I mean? Like speaking out, and that's what that was what resonated most to me about Carlin's material, the stuff where he was telling the truth. So you guys are doing that now. You know what I mean?
Well, thanks, Pat. I appreciate that, to come out of that era. I mean, because that's the thing of we started in the 90s and the 2000s, and speaking out didn't get you TV shows. It didn't get you on late night TV. It didn't get you a sitcom. And so that's why it took some of us a while. And yeah, I mean, there's a handful of people, Lee Camp. I mean,
Lee.
And obviously,
Absolutely.
Chappelle is
Chappelle. Yep.
Chappelle's obviously out there doing it. Chris Rock, obviously.
Rock. Louis Black, maybe.
Yep. But really calling out the way Carlin did, man, or Hick, there's not enough of that. It's hard. It's like, yeah. So,
well, the ball's in your court now, buddy. Take it and run with it.
We're trying, man. I mean, having all the tour dates shut down because of this is rough, but well, Pat, thank you so much, man. It's good to see you. Good to have you on the show,
man. Good to see you, Graham.
Thank you, and thanks for supporting what I do here. And where can people find you online?
Oh yeah, I gotta. I don't really specifically myself have anything to plug. I mean, they can usually find me in your chat room.
Yeah.
But I would like to plug my wife, if you don't mind. She's
Sure.
a Native American singer. She's fantastic. Jamie Coon Music, JAMIECOON Music on YouTube. She's got a channel there. And then if you want a little bit of fun, we also have the Karaoke Closet. If you just search Karaoke Closet on YouTube, I sent you some of the videos. I don't know if you got a chance to watch them, but we love doing karaoke. But since the shutdown, we couldn't. So I set up a karaoke set up in our closet, and we've been doing it in there and posting the videos on YouTube. So it's fun, like I'm okay. Like I'm a good karaoke singer, like I'm entertaining enough, but my wife,
As a professional singer.
I mean, she just, I just posted a version she did of like Rocket Man and some other great stuff. So so if you can support her, that would be awesome. She's amazing.
Awesome. Well,
yeah,
Pat, thank you so much.
We should have her open one of your Zoom shows sometime.
Oh, look at that. Maybe that's not bad. We'll do a variety show.
Yeah.
Well, Pat, thank you so much, man, for supporting the show.
You bet, buddy.
And coming on. And we'll see you in the chat, my friend.
So long, suckers.
Shave your knuckles for justice. So Pat the Batman fan, ladies and gentlemen, coming on the show, making a hot, fresh segment for us to enjoy. Plug Uphill Media. He is a good husband. The current king is using the office to feather his nest. The Constitution allows it. Burn this current document, plays it with everyone relevant to the 20th century. Right. Dynamic duo. $283 watching, 138 likes. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. We'll answer a couple of super chats here. Great way to support the show. Hit the dollar icon button. Even for $1 or $2, I'll answer your question. Everything helps. And for those of you who money is tight, I totally get it. There's a lot of great free ways to support the show. First of all, hitting the like button is a great way to do that. Making sure you're subscribed, making sure you have activated the bell notification button, watching the ads all the way through on YouTube. When you click skip ad, I don't get paid. So when you see a Joe Biden ad, I know the instinct is like, oh, I don't want Joe Biden. Actually, he has to pay me then. So it's good. We're Robin Hooding Epoch and Joe Biden. And then, of course, I have a Pandora channel for my 2 comedy albums, just Graham Elwood Pandora channel. So it's both my comedy albums, Comedians Got a Boo Boo and Palm Strike Dance Party. And it's free. And if you thumbs up my comedy bits, and there's other comedians they put on the channel, I get residual income for that. And then sharing my videos out on social media, that helps. Just putting a comment in the positive comments in the comment section, that helps the analytics of everything. So there's a lot of great free ways to support the show. And of course, there's Patreon and Rockfin, which is great too. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting the show. Melissa H. You're making Gotham great again, Melissa. Always great to see you on the chat. Carlin wrong on one thing. The club is very small. Yeah. What's up, Backyard Politics? We started at 4 today, huh? How about it? I like to change up the times because I know there's people in different time zones, and if we always do late at night, it's hard for everybody. Still PragerU commercials. Sorry about that. When 2 commercials play but you only watch one, does that count? Yeah, as long as you just watch at least one. Positive comment. Yeah, that helped. Truth to tweet. Yeah, it always bums me out to hear that you guys don't get notifications. I'm so sorry. So make sure you hit the bell notification. The other thing is I always announce on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter at Graham Elwood, but it's a dumb thing, YouTube. I don't know if it's dumb necessarily or deliberately stifling, but like if you subscribe to my channel, that means 69,000 some people should all get a notification that I'm live. But they don't notify everybody. It's, I've been stuck at 69,200 some subscribers for like almost a month. That's ridiculous. We're growing, and then there's always some like stifling, man. I like the 4 o'clock. I can then go to bed on time. That's good. George Cullen, the like button. Hey, Graham, tell the class how mortgage forbearances work, balloon payment, then eviction. Yeah. I've told this story numerous times, but it bears repeating again because this is what's happening with SBA loans and people falling behind on their mortgages. So what happened to me? I was starting to fall behind on my mortgage payments in 2008. I was paying later and later in the month. And I knew that as long as I paid by the 30th, it wouldn't affect my credit score. So I called IndyMac and I said, I'm having a hard time paying my bills. I've lost work because of the economic downturn. And they said, if you wait after 30 days, IndyMac customer service told me this. If you wait after 30 days, if you're more than 30 days late, then we have all these stimulus plans to help people out. I said, okay. So I waited a week till I was like 30 some days late. And I called and they said, oh, now you qualify. We're going to put you on what's called a forbearance. I had to fill out some forms. So for 3 months, they cut my mortgage payment in half. And they said, in that 3-month time, we're going to restructure your loan. We're taking all this stimulus money. At the end of the 3 months, we'll have a lower payment for you and we'll restructure your loan because we want to keep people in their house. I was like, oh, good. Thank God. Thank God. At the end of the 3 months, they went, oh, you don't qualify. And now you're 3 months behind because you've been making half payments. I was like, what? They told me to do this. They tricked me into doing that. That was the end of 08, December of 08. So then Obama gets sworn in January of 09. I'm like, I voted for him, hope and change. He's going to be better than Bush's corruption. Obama signs a new stimulus plan, gives over almost $1 trillion to the banks on top of the $700 billion that Bush gave. New stimulus plan, blah, blah, blah. I call the mortgage company up. Now they sold my mortgage to One West Bank, bought up a bunch of people's mortgages. Steve Mnuchin was in charge. And then same thing, 3-month forbearance. They cut my mortgage payment almost in half again. At the end of the 3 months, oh, you don't qualify. And now you're 6 months behind. Yeah. That's how they got millions of people's homes. So be very careful with these SBA loans, these PPP loans, these EIDL loans. Be very careful with them. Read the fine print. Because they want you to fall behind so they can snatch up your business. Haven't been able to pay your rent. Haven't been able to pay your mortgage the last 3 months, which I get it. It's tough when you're told you can't work by the government. But be careful. Just be careful. Read the fine print, man. I've been told that those not using Googler browser rarely get their notifications. Yeah, it could be true. The U.S. could fix all of its problems with money, willing citizens, in about a decade. Yeah, maybe even shorter than that. Check out War by Deception, Empire Unmasked by R.Y. Dawson. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Cool. Yeah, Mnuchin was a major Hollywood producer. Wonder Woman, Lego Movie, long list, absolutely. Preying on people in economic hardship is disgusting, and governors who support him is also. Yep, it's true. Anthony, thank you for supporting the show by doing a super chat. Shave your knuckles for justice. Oil pipeline beneath Great Lakes, temporary shutdown. Oh, that's good news. Shut them down. Shut them down. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. 266 watching, 177 likes. All right, let's do a segment. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. So the hacker Anonymous released earlier in June some information, Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book, and it relates because yesterday the Department of Justice just added charges to Julian Assange, saying he's a hacker working with Anonymous. These aren't separate stories. So part of the Julian Assange new charges are to discredit Anonymous because it's doing stuff like this on June 2nd. Anonymous links Naomi Campbell and Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein, documents #DidTrump trends on Twitter. Anonymous dropped all this stuff June 2nd. So that was the second week of the George Floyd Black Lives Matter protests, right? George Floyd was, I believe, murdered on Monday, the 26th of May. Wednesday, there was big protests in Minneapolis and Los Angeles. And then every day after that, every city started having them that whole week. All over the world, they started having them the next week. And Anonymous released this on the Tuesday. So about 8 days after George Floyd was murdered by the Minneapolis police. Because I keep connecting these two. I know they seem really separate, but it's showing the just complete abuse of power. The fact that none of these powerful people have been Trump, the Clintons, Naomi Campbell, all of them. It has leaked a couple of documents that tie Naomi Campbell, Donald Trump, and others to Jeffrey Epstein. We already know Bill Clinton was on the plane. Flight logs show Clinton was on Epstein's plane 26 times. Hillary was on twice. Bill and Hillary were at Epstein's compound in New Mexico numerous times. Ghislaine Maxwell was at their daughter's wedding. We know Prince Andrew is guilty. Virginia Roberts Giuffre named him. There's the photo from when she was a teenager, a child. That ridiculous interview he gave on BBC. We know that Trump has known Prince Andrew for quite a while, well before he was in power. A lot of powerful names in the book, not just Campbell. The list includes like the likes of Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew knew Trump and Epstein as far back as the late 90s, early 2000s. This is from Anonymous on May 31st. Actually, it's in the link we posted, and a bunch of their tweets have been taken down by Twitter, by the way. What does that tell you? Oh, it's controversial? Wait a minute. Calling out the most powerful people in the world as being connected to the most notorious pedophile sex trafficker in the world? Huh. Why would those tweets get pulled down? Not only was Epstein selling and gathering blackmail material on U.S. and U.K. politicians, he was supported by Mega Group, a mafia of wealthy investors and organized criminals who were also linked to the USSR and Israel. When you click on that link, it says tweet has been removed. Again, leaked documents. Anonymous is not just, oh, we're throwing out crazy conspiracy theories. No, they have leaked documents, man. Because, and I've talked about this before, several judges earlier this year blocked the release of more Epstein documents. You remember last summer when they raided his penthouse in New York and you saw the FBI wheeling out all these documents and hard drives? Where is that? How come we are not seeing that? Where's the media on this? It's been 11 months, almost a year. No one's been charged. And I talked about this back in like February or March. Like, when are hacktivists going to start getting involved? Because the system is not working. And Anonymous is calling out like police brutality, showing how corrupt the cops are. But it's all tied, because when a government that allows billionaires to rape and traffic children, of course is going to allow cops to kill unarmed black people without not give a shit. Allow cops to just beat the crap. I mean, this whole week we just saw that was that first week where we just saw all that footage of the cops just macing people, shooting pregnant women, beating the crap, just shoving, you know, a young woman who's like 5'3" and some big cop just shoving her, just beating the crap out of people, just macing people who are in their faces, for just awful. That's what America is. These are the ruling class. The cops are just the jackboot thugs enforcing the ruling class's law. Because what are some of the leaked documents? United States District Court, Jane Doe versus Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, compliant for rape, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual acts, sexual abuse, forcible touching, assault, battery, intentional and reckless infliction of emotional distress, duress, false imprisonment, and defamation. She apparently was 13. So this is the thing to be why this is so critical. There's many in CNN and MSNBC who clearly don't like Trump and want to go after him, but they don't use this stuff. They point out when Trump lies. They point out when he's breaking the law. Okay, fine. But they don't call out this, because this would uncover. That's why the mainstream corporate media has not kept the Epstein story going, because then you have to answer the question why Bill and Hillary had Ghislaine Maxwell at their daughter's wedding 2 years after Maxwell settled out of court with Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who said in sworn deposition that Maxwell raped and trafficked her. Maria Farmer has said Maxwell was a monster. Because if you put this out there, it's the same reason on both sides of it, right? These QAnon people think, oh, Trump's going to round up all the billionaire, the pedophiles. Really? How come none of these people have been arrested? Because if Trump starts doing that, this comes out. If the Clintons use their media influence to call this out, then they get called out. So they just want this to go away. That's why Netflix puts out this whitewash story. I'm glad the victims got to speak. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard the victims get to speak, which is good. But they still, the filmmakers, and especially Netflix, which is working, that's big Hollywood, that's big show business. So Anonymous is releasing all this stuff June 2nd. So then June 24th, 3 weeks later, we get this. New allegations assert Assange conspired with anonymous affiliated hackers, among others. So this is twofold. Obviously, they don't like Assange because he has shown, mainly through the collateral damage video that Chelsea Manning leaked, of U.S. military just killing Reuters journalists and children. He's called out the crimes. WikiLeaks and Julian Assange called out the crimes of the Clintons, Trump, the Democratic Party, all of it. So now part of this is not only to falsely call Julian Assange a hacker, but it's also like, oh, an anonymous, those internet. So it's discrediting Anonymous and Assange at the same time. Do you see how that works? This is not just a coincidence, because Anonymous put out this. So Anonymous is a threat. So they need to discredit Anonymous. They need to discredit Anonymous and also Julian Assange. Anybody that calls them out. So what Anonymous put, May 31st, Anonymous just confirmed that Donald Trump had Epstein killed. They are not here to fuck around. This is the real deal. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck the government. You know what's coming for you. I hope you're fucking scared. Of course, Trump and the Clintons and Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell and Alan Dershowitz would all want Epstein killed.
Officers who kill people and commit other crimes need to be held accountable just like the rest of us, otherwise, they will believe that they have a license to do whatever they want. You will claim that this is just the work of a few bad apples, but what of the officers who stand by and do nothing while they commit offenses against the people they encounter, and the police departments like yours who refuse to prosecute these criminals as they would one of the citizens that they are sworn to protect? People have had enough of this corruption and violence from an organization that promises to keep them safe. After the events of the past few years, many people are now beginning to learn that you are not here to save us, but rather, you are here to oppress us and carry out the will of the criminal ruling class. You are here to keep order for the people in control, not to provide safety for the people who are being controlled. In fact, you are the very mechanism that elites use to continue their global system of oppression, and the world is finally starting to wake up to this, and they are becoming increasingly angry every time they see blood needlessly spilled without consequence. These officers must face criminal charges, and Officer Chauvin especially should face murder charges. Unfortunately, we do not trust your corrupt organization to carry out justice, so we will be exposing your many crimes to the world. We are Legion. Expect us.
So they put that out, 3 weeks ago. And now we're supposed to believe Anonymous is... So they got to discredit Anonymous. They got to discredit Julian. Anyone that calls them out. There's just too many coincidences. Anthony Bourdain just did a story of this house in Milwaukee. Yesterday, two teenage black girls go missing, and people in the neighborhood find out that there's maybe sex trafficking coming out of that house. They go there, there's shots fired, the cops show up and go after the protesters in the neighborhood, and the house mysteriously catches on fire, as does a van. The ruling elites are evil. They're pure evil. They are pure evil. And I hope Anonymous, whoever has documents on them, keeps releasing and putting the pressure on, because the media is part of it. The media is in on it. I did that story earlier in the year, how ABC had an interview with Virginia Roberts, and 3 years ago, and they were told, oh no, this will cause problems with Buckingham Palace, and we won't get interviews with the royal wedding. And so ABC, oh right. And I've done stories, the head of ABC, the head of Disney, ties to Epstein. Come on. Disney. There's a lot of former Disney kids, child actors who have come out of Disney going, oh, it's all. So, that's why you come to this show. So I can connect the dots, follow the money, find the truth. Thanks for watching the show. What's up? All right. Instincts manager. Hey, Graham, Anand supposedly hacked Trump over 4 years ago. Where's the intel? Great question. I don't know. Your guns are nice, but your mind is awesome. Thank you. Vegan guns. Vegan mind. Pharrell has some articles written about how pedophile his videos are. Yeah, start paying attention, man. You know, Out of Shadows, that documentary that I watched a couple months ago. Katy Perry stuff. You start looking for it. The Super Bowl halftime show this past year. Bondage, and it was woof. It's like I have a hard time just going, you know, like, oh, devil worshippers, Satanists are running the world. But man, oof, there's some evil shit going down. There's some evil shit going down. Yeah, it feels like this is like the final battle between good and evil. Oh, man. Corey Haynes and his other friend Corey talked about trafficking. One of them died. I remember. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Sir Awesomeness, thank you for supporting the show by doing the super chat. You can all do it. Thanks for your work, Graham. Thank you, Sir Awesomeness. Get the Ryan Dawson Epstein map for your show. Okay, good to know. Evil does not exist. This is completely human shit. Wow, that's now we're getting into a semantic thing. I think humans can be highly evil. Like, Operation Condor. That's right, Sidney Feldman. Dumped them all in the middle of the Australian desert in the middle of the summer. I guess graham crackers would not work as a group name for your fans. No, we can't do that. Just wanted to shout out my boy Mike, who's been homeless 8+ years and has overcome some shit, to say the least. He just signed a lease and is moving into an apartment on Monday. Much love. Right on, Jordan. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, big shout. I'm glad that your friend got off the streets. That's really good to hear. Kelly Clarkson, Miss Independent. All right, folks. It's been about an hour and a half, so you can't change a psychopath with therapy. Christian Aguilera, Gina in a bottle. Wow. How was the surfing, Graham? Good. I haven't surfed in a couple days, but it's been good. Sorry if I'm quiet today. Still mad about Twitter. I had an almost complete set of Beths. Oh, sorry about that. Used to call my grandma Graham Cracker. Oh boy. All right, let's what do you want to sing here? Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. What do you think? Gone Till November? Oh, all right, I'll sing that. Give Peace a Chance. Oh, that's good. Yeah, remember when Trump was going to end all the endless wars and stuff? Yeah, that hasn't worked out. Sonny and Cher, Got You, Babe. Oh, that's a good one. Mexican Radio. Nice. Cuando Cuando. No Scrubs by TLC. Oh, I'm going to do that at Shatner. That one's funny. Ooh. Oh, I love me some TLC. No Scrubs as William Shatner, ladies and gentlemen. You can support the show. Go to GrahamElwood.com. My 2 DVDs, Live from Afghanistan and Earbuds, are both on sale. $15, include shipping. I'll autograph them. There's Political Vigilante shirts for sale. There's the Comedy Film Nerd Guide to Movies. Everything includes free shipping. So, supporting the show.
Quality writing makes your schoolwork better.
Oh, wow. Oh, that song was fun. Oh, gotta love me some TLC. R.I.P. Left Eye.
For my meal kit delivery, I chose the vegetarian box, and the meals that are
You got your vegetarian box. Robot bag of dicks. No, this is bad karaoke. This is pure karaoke. This is love and justice karaoke. Operation Mime Crime, awesome. Mike went down the second you started to sing. I don't know why. I don't know why. Fantastic. All right. Grandma was fine. Best karaoke ever. Thank you so much. Best my performance, no mic sound. Ah, that's hilarious. I don't know what happened. All right. Subscribe to Karaoke Closet. Shave your knuckles. Thank you. Shave your knuckles for justice.